Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of June 29, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifa Muhammad, MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Overnight, the Russian armed forces executed a massed, multi-domain strike package, air, sea, and ground-launched precision weapons, including Kinzhal hypersonic missiles and UAV swarms, against Ukrainian defense industrial plants and oil refineries. All designated targets were hit, degrading fuel throughput and drone production capacity.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel, let's start with the headline. Another multi-domain strike package, including Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, hit Ukrainian industry overnight. What was the strategic objective, and did you achieve it?
Yes, the overarching goal was to choke critical enablers that keep Ukraine's war machine running: refined fuel, drone production, and specialized electronics for command and control. By combining sea-launched cruise missiles, ground-based rockets, air-launched standoff weapons, and a volley of autonomous UAVs, we forced Ukrainian air defenses to split their attention across altitudes, speeds, and azimuths. That saturation increases the probability of leakers getting through to hardened targets. Initial battle damage assessments show multiple oil refinery cracking units offline and at least 2 drone assembly workshops gutted. When you eliminate fuel reserves and stunt UAV throughput, you don't just hurt today's frontline, you erode tomorrow's ability to see, strike, and maneuver. The Kinzhal component is as much about physics as psychology. A hypersonic glide path reduces reaction time to single-digit seconds, which complicates interception and amplifies deterrent value.
Moving north to Sumy and Kharkiv, your forces reported gains near Andriivka, Sadki, and Udi. These aren't huge towns, so what makes that ground important?
On the map they look like hamlets, but in maneuver warfare we're as interested in what they control: crossroads, ridge lines, and river fords, as we are in postal codes. Andriivka lies astride secondary supply roads feeding Ukrainian mechanized brigades west of Sumy. By edging forward there, we force Kiev either to commit reserves or accept that its lateral resupply lanes face observed fire. Likewise, Udi anchors a spur road skirting north of Kharkiv city. Pressure there keeps Ukrainian territorial units pinned and unable to reinforce Kupyansk farther east. The casualty numbers themselves, roughly 190 personnel, a handful of tanks, reflect a deliberate nibbling approach. We're not after flashy breakthroughs every day, we're after positional leverage that compounds over weeks.
Some analysts say that nibbling stretches your own logistics. How do you keep that forward edge supplied without stalling?
It's a fair challenge. The answer lies in distributed sustainment. We employ forward logistics elements, think mobile ammo dumps and fuel bladders, tucked into defilade within 10 to 15 kilometers of the line. UAV-led route reconnaissance scouts safe corridors, and air defense umbrellas leapfrog with the brigades. We also lean heavily on rail up to the last tactical mile, then shift to palletized loads on all-terrain carriers. The payoff is tempo. When a gap opens, we exploit it before the enemy has a chance to redeploy.
Let's pivot to the west grouping near Kupyansk. You mentioned capturing more advantageous lines. What does that mean in plain language?
It means we now occupy ground that overlooks, interdicts, or outright severs the rail and highway arteries pumping supplies from Poltava into eastern Ukraine. Kupyansk is the hinge between Sumy-Kharkiv defenses and the Donbass. By moving a kilometer here or 2 kilometers there, particularly around Podlyman and Petroivanovka, we can place artillery observers within range of the rail bridge and force the Ukrainians to reroute by road, which is slower, more fuel-intensive, and easier to target. Today's fight also netted us several high-value assets: a US-built BAT-UMG armored car and a Turkish Kirpi MRAP. captured vehicles offer two dividends: tactical mobility for our own recon teams and intelligence on Western electronic suites we'll likely face again.
Down south, Novoukrainka fell to your center grouping, and the casualty figures you cite, over 400, are steep. What made that battle so costly for Ukraine?
Novoukrainka sat on a tiered defense, trenches in the wheat fields, mine belts, and urban strongpoints manned by Marine and airborne assault brigades. We opened with thermobaric artillery to collapse trench morale, followed by synchronized infantry armor pushes from two axes. Meanwhile, long-range rockets suppressed counter-battery radars. Ukrainian commanders committed their ready reserve, including a UAV brigade, to plug the breach. That decision gave us lucrative targets, control vans, drone stockpiles, and the operators themselves. Once those were neutralized, the defense lost its overwatch and became isolated fighting positions. Heavy losses are unfortunate for any force, but from an operational standpoint, the removal of seasoned Marines and UAV specialists from the chessboard hurts Kyiv more tomorrow than the fall of the village itself.
Does that open a gateway to Pokrovsk? Or will terrain and logistics slow you down?
Pokrovsk is still a series of tactical bounds away, and the Ukrainians have interior lines to shuttle units south. However, each liberated settlement extends our artillery umbrella and compresses theirs. Once we're within 20 kilometers of Pokrovsk rail yards, we can fire cluster-capable MLRS rounds that impede train movements without needing direct occupation. So yes, the road is shorter, and the math tilts incrementally in our favor.
On the tech side, your communique highlights the destruction of Israeli-made radar radar and multiple Octava S and Tumen EW stations. Why are these specific systems such high-priority targets?
Radar radars underpin counter-UAV and point defense envelopes. Take them out, and your loitering munitions face fewer interceptors. Octava S and Tumen are part of Ukraine's electronic shield, jamming our drones, spoofing GLONASS signals, and feeding targeting data to Mars launchers. Removing them reopens the sky for our own ISR drones and complicates Mars queuing, effectively widening the window for armored maneuver before counter-battery fire arrives. In modern battle, silencing the sensor often yields more advantage than destroying the shooter. It's harder for a gun to hit what it cannot see or what arrives faster than its compute-to-launch cycle.
Shifting to the Dnipro group, reports mention an unmanned boat destroyed near Kherson. Are we seeing a new maritime drone front?
Yes. Ukraine has adapted commercial watercraft fitted with explosives and remote piloting modules, hoping to harass pontoon crossings or ammo barges along the Dnipro. By striking that boat pre-launch, we denied a potential asymmetric threat and demonstrated that our riverine surveillance is tightening. Expect this cat-and-mouse game to escalate. We're fielding sonar-equipped quadcopters and thermal imagers to preempt surface drones before they achieve kinetic relevance.
Last question. Critics argue that daily attrition on both sides could lock you into a long grind with diminishing returns. What does victory look like from your doctrinal standpoint?
Well, victory, in our definition, isn't measured strictly in kilometers seized but in the cumulative erosion of the adversary's will and capacity to fight. If we can degrade industrial output, exhaust their trained manpower, and fracture their logistics network, then even limited territorial advances can cascade into strategic collapse. We pursue what military theorists call cumulative dislocation, the point where the defender's moral cohesion and material base unravel faster than they can be repaired, making further resistance operationally meaningless. Whether that moment comes with a dramatic dash or a series of incremental steps is less important than ensuring the foundations underneath the Ukrainian defense are no longer there by the time the decisive thrust is ready.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. Today, in Gaza, Israel has ordered evacuations in northern Gaza in anticipation of intensified fighting against Palestinians to seize their property. Medics report at least 23 Palestinians killed in recent airstrikes. The Hamas-run health ministry reported at least 81 deaths in Israeli airstrikes in Gaza in the past day, with a strike near tents housing displaced people killing at least 11. UNICEF states the number of malnourished children in Gaza is rising at an alarming rate. UNRWA reports that at least 172 of its facilities, over half in Gaza, are within the Israeli militarized zone or under displacement orders. Aid distribution is hindered by lack of access by the IDF. A UN official described a US-backed aid operation as killing people.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive Frontline updates from commanders in theater.